want to talk about tonight, simple topic, because they said I couldn't have it. This topic comes from a movie starring Cuban Gooding Jr., Men of Honor. Story is he went to diving school as a black man, and at the time it was impossible to get into it, and he eventually walked his way into diving school. But when he got there, it was clear that they were not going to pass him. It didn't help that he had some bad grades on a few tests, and he took liberty to go to the library to study on his own and try to pass his test. In the midst of his anguish and the stress of not being able to fulfill the academic part of the program, a young lady asked him, "Why do you want it so bad? You're a minority. They're not going to let you pass. They're cracking on you. They're abusing you. They're ostracizing you. You know, the teachers got it in for you. And they told you straight that you're not going to pass. And they're not going to give you your license to be a Navy diver, a master diver at that. Why do you want it so bad?" He looked back at her and he said, "Because they said I couldn't have it. Because they said I couldn't have it." I get chills every time that part comes in the movie. Because they said I couldn't have it. And for me, quite honestly, a lot of things in my life are the attributes of people saying that I couldn't have it. I have several stories. And first story I'll tell you is a story about a young lady. I thought at that time, being in high school, maybe about 15 years old, I thought that, hey, I had a shot. Come to find out I didn't have a shot. And she told me very clearly that I didn't have a shot after maybe about an hour of me talking to her in class, just kind of like shooting the breeze. And next thing you know, got down to the meat of the conversation. And she said, "Oh, I would never deal with you." It's like, "Why?" She said, "Because you're little, because you're dirty." It's like, oh. Okay, now I have to find a way to finish this class. There's about 15 minutes left in class. I managed to finish the class. I managed to go to my locker. I managed to get my books out of my locker and walk out of the school. I managed to get out of the school, maybe get about 100 yards from the school, and then I broke down and cried. I cried like a little baby. But I cried not because, I cried only because I was hurt and because there was some validity and truth in what she was saying. At that time, I thought that I had myself together. I thought that, I was good, but clearly I wasn't. And I had to accept that responsibility for myself. So you know what I did? I ended up going, and at the time I was a young kid, excited about sports and all kinds of things that 15-year-olds do. Cutting hair was something that I did, but I didn't do it seriously. I did it just to put lunch money in my pocket and buy some school clothes and some sneakers and keep a haircut, basically. And so I didn't take it seriously, but at that moment, I made a declaration that day that I will not allow another person to talk to me like that ever again. I would never let a woman or anybody say anything derogatory about me, especially the things that I can control. I said it to myself. I said, I can control this. I can change this. This is something that I can do about this. And I didn't take it personal. I didn't hate that girl after that. I actually loved her. She told me the truth. And that truth propelled me to be the person that I am today. I left that school. I marched my way down to the local barbershop that was recruiting me to cut hair. And I said, I'm here to work. And I went to work every single day until I created a business that I can change my life with. I went to work every single day with no customers, with nobody following me from the people that I was cutting. I built it from scratch. And from the point of me working there to the point of me being a part owner, from the point of me owning the place, from the point of me expanding into a better business, from me moving into a prime location downtown, the downtown area, and having success. And from that point on, I utilized that what she said to change my life. Now here's the funny part of the story. At some point during that transition, I became fairly successful. And I ended up getting a bank account at this particular bank, business account. And coincidentally, I happened to buy BMW 750IL, blue, peanut butter leather, blue piping. And I just happened to make my weekly deposits through the drive-through, which that particular female that called me dirty and said I never had a chance to work. But hey, I had no hard feelings. It wasn't anything personal. But at the end of the day, I used to thank her every time she gave me my receipt. And I really thanked her. And I thank her to this day. And if she heard this today, she probably wouldn't even know she was the person that caused me to be who I am today. But what she did was she created in me an internal compass or an internal gauge to see where I'm at. Because it's one thing to think that you're at one point, but people see you as something else. Now, every time, people don't always see you what you really are. And I don't give stock into too much of what people think of me or see of me. But when there's validity and there's truth to it, then you have to evaluate yourself. I can get upset and hold grudges and do this and that and never have changed anything. I could have called her all kinds of names and everything, and it wouldn't have done anything. I would have digressed even more. But what I did was I took the truth that she said and I evaluated my life based on that truth. And I said I accept it, but I could do something about it. I can change my stature in a position or my physical physique. I can not be 15 pounds underweight. You know, I can generate income to where that I'm in a position that I never looked at as being dirty. You know, I don't think I was dirty, but I just wasn't, I was a kid. I wasn't thinking about it. You know, but she was honest enough to tell me that in such a way that it made me realize, hey, listen, there's things that I have to do to improve myself, and I'm willing to do it. And the motivation behind it is because she said I couldn't have it. Now, technically, did I ever have it? No, I didn't. But I think that I probably could if I wanted to. That's just one story. But that story changed my life. That was the beginning of me acknowledging that I was going to be better. That was the beginning of me acknowledging that I wasn't going to quit. Building a business at 15 years old, a brand new business at that. This wasn't a barbershop that was on the map for years. This was a barbershop that just pretty much opened, and they were recruiting me maybe a month or two prior to me getting down there, and I just didn't want to go because I felt I was a kid and I wanted to play basketball and do all those other things. But that was the beginning of me changing my life to say, hey, I'm gonna make some different decisions in my life and get some different results. I had another story. Around that same time, I had a friend. We both had motorcycles. I think I was a little bit older at this time. We both were kind of in the same category. I had a red bike. He had a blue bike. And I think that he felt that we were equal in a sense. So one day I'm on the phone with him. I tell him I was going to buy a Saab. I was 17 years old at the time because I remember when I bought the car, I wasn't old enough to sign the paperwork on the car. I had to have somebody else buy the car for me and wait till I turned 18 to transfer it over. So I was 17 years old and I said I was going to buy a Saab. He laughed. He laughed at me. The nerve of this guy, the audacity to think just because his limitations were just that motorcycle, that he was going to put those same limitations on me. How dare he even say that or think that? I couldn't believe it, but I tell you what, I got upset. I got mad. I said, oh, you don't think I can get one? Oh, no, I'm just saying. What are you saying? Guess what? I didn't buy a Saab. Because when I went to the dealership to get the Saab, they sold it. But I ended up getting an Audi. And it was the same price as the Saab. But the point is, they said I couldn't have it. But I found a way to get it. I worked just that much harder. That much harder. When I started with my personal growth, my personal development, I traveled the world with some of the most successful people in the world, doing a business, network marketing business. They said I couldn't do it. They said I wouldn't make it. They said I would never be successful. Say stuff don't work. It's a scheme. It's a scam. It's a pyramid. It's this. It's that. Guess what? I made money. I had tangible checks showing people this is what I've done. $3,000 in one month. This is what I've done $10,000 in this month. This is what I've done $16,000 in this month. This is what I've done to the same people that said I couldn't do it. To the same people that said no. The same people that watch me every day go out and do what I do. Said I couldn't do it. But that was my motivation to keep going. That I had to prove them wrong. That at the end of the day, they could not be right. I wouldn't allow them to be right. They could. You can't put me in this box. And I'm not saying it in a cocky way. I'm saying it in a way that at the time when I was thinking about what they were saying to me, it's like, how could you be so limiting? How could you not encourage me? How could you not say, well, try it? Like, how hard would it be to just say it's not for me, but you go ahead and be the best you can be? As a matter of fact, I'll buy something from you. But they discouraged me. It's almost like they didn't want to see anybody expand their idea of what they should be doing. It's almost like they didn't want anybody to go past a certain point so it would make them look bad for being where they are. How could you let a 18, 19, 20-year-old be more successful than you, and you've been around for so long? It's like, no, we can't let that happen. We got to discourage this guy. We got to put the idea in his head that he can't. And every time they told me I couldn't, for some reason, something on the inside told me I could. For some reason, I had a lot of fights growing up. None physical, all mental. I fought the good fight of faith every single day. The fight that I would not be average, that I would not be common, that I would not accept C, satisfactory work, that I would do everything to the best of my ability and give it my all, that I would commit to myself to a certain level of excellence, that I would permeate throughout everything that I do, whether it's opening up the door, whether it's closing the door, whether it's cutting hair, whether it's going to church and praying, whether it was giving my offering, or whether it was taking a girl out to dinner. I would commit to excellence in everything that I do. And that was my fight every day. Not to be average, not to be common, not to be grouped in with the rest of the guys that are around doing whatever. I had to fight that fight every day. And guess what? Everybody they have that fight. Some people win. Most people lose. Most people don't even give it a fight at all. Most people just settle in the idea that they're just like everybody else. And when they say you can't have it, you say, yeah, well, maybe I can't have it. As a matter of fact, I really didn't want it. I don't even know why I thought about it. But no, there's a group of people out there who want more and are willing to work hard to get it. There's a group of people out there that are hearing the words that I'm saying and something's resonating on the inside right now. You want to get up and go right now. You want to go do the thing that they said you couldn't do right now. That's what it takes, ladies and gentlemen. It takes that right there. It takes that desire, that hunger. You have to be hungry. You have to want it more than they don't want you to have it. That's how you get it. At the end of the day, if your life depended on it, would you be able to make it happen? Could you be depended on to get it done? Because that's what it's all about. In your life, you're the only person that's responsible for your success. You are solely responsible for it. It's not up to anybody else. No one else but you. And if you're a man and you have a family, your burden is even greater because you have the burden of that whole family. If your family starves, no one's going to look at your wife. They're going to look at you. They're going to look at you. It has to be up to you. And the things that they say you can't have, they can tell you that you can't have. They can tell you that you're too short. They can tell you that you're not strong enough. They can tell you that you can't speak well enough. They can tell you you're not smart enough. They can tell you all these different things, but it's up to you to believe that. It doesn't matter what they say to you. It matters what you say to yourself. What do you say when you say to yourself? When you talk to yourself, what do you say? Are you affirming the good, denouncing the bad? Are you consistently agreeing with what people are saying about you? I don't allow anybody to speak into my life. I don't give that power to many people because most people don't know how to speak into their own lives. And if I don't see the fruit on your tree, you're definitely not going to put any on my tree. I'm just not going to let that happen. And so I'm going to close, but I really want you to understand that it takes a certain type of person to be mentally tough to fight when the enemy that you're fighting is within you. I could have blamed this situation on the girl, could have blamed it on the guy. I could have blamed it on anybody, but I chose to look within and say, you know what, I'm going to take responsibility for me. And I'm going to make some changes in my life. And those changes are going to give me the result that I'm looking for. And what I'm looking for is to be the best me. My name is T.W. Dawson, and my mission is to unleash the potential power within you by adding the extra to your ordinary, the super to your natural, and the above to your average through motivation, inspiration, and education. You guys have a good night.